back at the job today. I fitted the staircase in a while ago. What we need to do today is the wall that's going to go across there. Fire door frame there to the left hand side of the window. And then if we come upstairs, I'll show you what we're going to do. We've already boarded all this. We boarded it all out last week. So there's going to be a wall across here now, across there. Then it'll return there once I've doubled that joist up there. And then it'll come across here and then go in line with this double all the way through after I've noggined all that out the wall. And there'll be a door lining in that wall. So that's going to be a bathroom area. And this is going to be the main bedroom area. A little sort of office bit there, just there. So that's what we're going to do today. First job then, I'm just going to put a timber down the side of this one because the wall's sitting on that. There is a double there anyway. That's going to catch the edge of the plasterboard. So I'm put that's not carry. All this is going to carry, and it is a 9x2 C24, and it's only 3.6. In fact, it's not even 3.6. It's about 3.3. So I'm more than happy for that to carry just this little wall, which is about 2.2150, I think it is. More than happy with that. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a bit of a timber in that bit, in between the noggins, in between that bit there, glued and screwed, just to take any possible movement at all out of it. But like I say, I'm happy anyway. This is just belts and braces really. So that's my first job.
Right there on top of the moon, we could sit and do nothing. I wish we were bold to just fly away. I don't wanna care, just be here and I'm good alone. I'll be okay, miss you like an old friend. Too scared now, thinking I should call up, I'm not. I think it's hard how we always wait another day, how we watch things that can't just walk away. Let's live down by the water, watch it come and go home. I wish we were bold to like sail away. I just don't wanna care. Can you be here and I'm good alone? I'll be okay, miss you like an old friend. Too scared now, thinking I should call up, I'm not.
I've doubled those up now then. Double that one up, put the noggin back in. Doubled that one up, or at least put another timber in. It's been glued and nailed with that stick saw glue, so I'm happy with that now. This is peace of mind for me. I've already said before, even though I know it's more than strong enough to carry it, that's a tiny wall there for one piece of 4x2, so I was happy with that anyway. But there we go, it's on hangers as well. So all I'll do now is I'm going to get my laser out, which I'll show you and may even talk to you about. It's a howto, I think I'm pronouncing it right. I bought after watching several reviews, and I've used it on several occasions, and we haven't been able to fault it yet for its accuracy or even the green laser in daylight, which sometimes are not even good in daylight, are the green lasers, even though we're told they are. So I'll set this wall out, but ultimately what's happening is the one wall's coming down there like that, then it's dog-legging in, then it's coming along here, then it's coming along there, and that wall's then going to run all the way through and come along here and come against this slope ceiling. There's going to be a doorway in there then, as I've already said to you, and I'll pull all these cables through. So right, that's what I'll do now. I'll get on with that. Right, I'm going to set my wall out now. I've bought a howto laser level after I dropped my Hilti one on the roof job. If you see me doing that, this is what I've got. The model number, I don't actually know it. Where we are. Model number is there. .360 laser, which is really good. And I've opted for the receiver as well. I'll put it in a Milwaukee pack out just to keep it in line with everything else I've got. The receiver's there, which I've found to be really good. That's there. You get the standard laser finder, the green laser finder. Never used it. You get the receiver holder that you can clip onto a bit of timber or whatever. Put in there, that's your battery for your receiver. That's your battery for your laser. 2 of these, which are really good. You get a standard holder if you've got to clip on, you know, again magnetised and standard holder. I did actually buy a better holder as well, which is, you can move it up and down, you can move it left and right and everything, but I have bought things, so I don't need it. That's just your charger for your batteries. But yeah, it's really good. I'm really happy with it at the moment. If you've seen the channel already, you've seen me using this a few times. But as I've just said, I opted for the additional stand, which is you get 5 of these poles, total of 3 meters, so 600 mil. One of which has got a top on it like that, and that is spring loaded at there, so you can do exactly what I've done there. Again with the supplied foot, which is there, like a rubber foot. And all that does is that just allows you to clamp it as I've done. It's not very stable because that board's not fixed. So rather than the tripod, which you do get, which is a nice tripod, like that's that. Comes in a nice bag, that black bag there. So I just clamped it onto there, and that comes with the kit as well, that laser holder. That moves up and down. You can dial it as you would do, up and down, and knock it off. I'm going to set it up now, get this wall in. 965. 966. I think we can give 1 mil. Right then, what I'll do now is I'll get a timber, set it on here to this corner, because if you remember just I said about we're going to return this wall, I'll make sure that's square. I can mark my laser line on that far wall now, so when I dog leg that wall in, I can make sure these lines are parallel. So I'll just do that, get some timbers on, screw them to the floor. Off we go. Just to disturb the board with my laser on. That on the edge of the laser. This is timber. There we go. I'll make sure that's parallel. As parallel as I can. So I generally get my sole plates down first, just so they're all right and square, and it's easier then when you start to put your studs in, because what I'm normally do is now, and I get my head plate to get the height of your stud, I'll put that on there, same material, and I'll measure off that to the ceiling. That ultimately gives me the height of my stud. So if you want to take that off, that's it then. And there's no messing, no individual messing about. You can just go along, mark your centres, and if you see these sloped for any reason, then you can just mark it on your sole plate, individual measurements, get yourself a cutting list, and just be more efficient and work your way through. That's how I do it. It's not the only way, but that's the way I do it. And I shall show you more anyway as we go through. I shall continue now, put my laser back on, get that corner set in, get all that ready to go, glued and screwed down ready. All I normally do when I'm doing my doorways, I think it's a lot easier, is I'll do that now and set it in. I'll use a full timber to put in the doorway, and then I'll cut the doorway out after. Just allows you to keep it in line better, rather than to try and mark it on the floor and do a little tiny stud this side, little tiny stud that side. That's why I found is a lot easier for me anyway, a lot better for me. So that's what I'm going to do. So if you wonder why I'm doing, that's why I'm doing it. It's just a lot easier to set yourself out. Plus, if I've got a full timber, as you can imagine, in there, where my doorway is going roughly, where my doorway is going, I can put that piece in and square it in off this, and I can put that piece in and square it in off that. If I got a little tiny stud this end and one stud at the end, I'd struggle to square it in without having to use other bits of timber. So this is just easier. You can fix that end, fix this end, cut it out, and that bit I use for noggins anyway, so it's never wasted timber. If you wanted to, the thickness of a saw cut, of a handsaw, you could actually use that for the head of the door then, if you wanted to. But it is going to be two saw thicknesses too small, so it's up to you. It gives me my line here to mark off. Now that's full on my timber there, so in effect my stud has got to be this side now. So put a mark there, and then when I know what width this is, I can mark that width on there, and I can measure off that this end, measure off that this end, and I know that this wall, or the doorway, is parallel to that, and then this is all square then. So I should do that first. I should get myself a length, because I know where my stud's coming. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go behind the camera now and mark the laser line on the ceiling all the way through to the Velux window, which is there. So I'll mark it all the way through to there, and then likewise when I come to do this wall, I can set the laser up over there and pick up the marks, and I can measure off here, come in here when I get a measurement, and I can make sure that this is my parallel line off the wall we're just doing now, and that'll then ensure that this wall is parallel to this one, because I can measure off this, and I know I'm not sort of doing this or doing this. What I'm going to do now, I've set my marks on the wall there so I can measure off. I'm now going to set my doorway out, and then I can level and square that in off this main wall we've just put in. So as I already said, what I'm going to do is, because I'm not going to put a sole plate on this one, because it's only going to be the thickness of a timber, and I'm going to put the door frame against that leg to keep the width for the landing. So what I'll do is I'll put my timber on the floor, put my weight on it, put my tape on top of that, and this is to give you height of your timber, because I'm allowing the thickness of a timber for my head, because I'm going to put a head in after. So what I'm doing is I'll cut it short and I'll knock the head in after, when I start to put all my heads in, once I've got all my sole plates done. So keep the tape as level as I can, and that is 2004. So I know that's what's done there, so I'll cut that. When I take this away, 2004 now, off the floor, it'll give me a timber's thickness short at the top. Right, so that now the enough height now. Just, I think, find that easier than trying to measure and you can't hold that and you've got to try, so that's just easier. Timber on the floor, or if you've got a sole plate, you do the same thing, but you put another piece of timber on top of the sole plate you've done, which I'll show you in a minute. Do exactly the same thing, and that fits in perfect, tight to the ceiling, it's even holding itself up, so it's more than tight enough. Get my fixings into this and put that head in after once I get all my square line and start doing all the squares in, because I can level up off my base plate then, you see, and put the laser on again. It's easier to do it off your base plate, your sole plate. Right, that's screwed in now. Just something to point out there. Before we put this plasterboard on, which obviously you didn't see any of that footage because we didn't film anything, we've obviously put noggins in between the uprights of that to catch it. We've actually come further this way now. We were actually further over, more likely in between where the timber is now and the level. So we've moved it over. It's actually closer to the upright, so it's actually probably more stable because it's in the noggins and next to the sort of upright now. So that's why we've done that. But we've put noggins all the way through there to catch that wall, and we knew where the centres were because I set them in. Likewise, we did the same in the ceiling for above here. All the same there. And likewise, we have done in the ceiling there to catch this. And again, the same for here. Exactly the same for that, because I knew where we were going. So that's just important when you're setting out and what have you, make sure you put the extra noggins in to catch your wall. Right, bit of a change of plan. Because that fire door frame is 45mm thick, quite a substantial frame, pretty good. So I've just looked at the opening I've got, and I think if I just come this way so you can view it better. Because that width there is just over, I mean I can cut some of that stringer back a little tiny bit. If you look now where that's overhanging, I can cut that back now. I'd originally gone to the corner of my stringer and then the newel will sit over there. But what I'm thinking now is that width I've got there now, between there and there, is enough to put a 2'3" fire door in, and then fix the frame again because it's so substantial. Instead of a stud, I can fix the 45mm thick frame against that wall now, and then against the inside of that stud and put it in there and then frame off it then. So that's what I'm going to do. And then what it allows me to do then is it allows me to have a doorway there without, if I had 2'6", I'd have to come 3 inches this way, and then I'd have to sort of walk around my null post to get in my door, and I'd just think that'll look rubbish. So 2'3" is plenty anyway. Put 2'3" in there, and then I can frame all that in, no problem at all, as I was going to. What I'm going to do now is, and apologies for turning the sound off, but I want my radio on this time of day. I'm on my own, and I get sick of talking to myself. So I'll put my radio on, hence the music on while you're watching what I'm doing. So if, my apologies for that. I mean, comments below if you'd rather watch a video with the work noise going on. If you do, and you think the videos are a bit boring without it, then let me know in the comments. I'd appreciate it. If that is the case, then of course I'll put my headphones on, put a bit of music on my own headphones, and leave the sound on for you. But I thought you might like a bit of nice music instead of listening to me waffling on like you are now. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to put the noggins in there now, across there, and I'll run this wall, because I've stopped that one there, so I wanted that one independent of that one. And then I can run this across here now, and then run down the centre of that, and then I can start framing all this in. And then once I've done that, then I can frame all these walls, and that's the easy part then, putting all the the sole plates in is the hard part, making sure it's all square and exactly where I want it and parallel to everything. Right, I knocked the camera off for a minute just to check a couple of messages and forgot to put it back on. So all I've done off camera is I've screwed and glued that to the ceiling. That now is at the height where the top of my frame, again, I'm going to go for the structure. If I turn that over, structure on the frame, because it's quite thick, about 1.5 inches. That's going to be my head now, rather than put an extra stud in, because it means I can keep the door that way as tight as I can then, which gives me more space there for showers and whatever I might do there. So I'm going to come across now the width of the frame, external size, plus 5mm to allow for packers and things. And then I'll put my head in across there and then put the uprights in, either side of the door. And then I'll get the main structure in there and get this corner all fixed in. And then I'll go across there then, across that one, and get that in and try and get some more of this in. But again, top of the stairs is going to be the same as this. It's just going to be an opening with no head on it, because that's where the frame's going. So I'll put my double timber on, so I can measure the height. And now I'm coming to there, because I've still got my laser on, so if I can measure to that, I have got 19, make sure your tape's always upright, 1983. 1983. Okay, I'll measure that one as well, and I'm coming to about 1983. Right there. Again, put some weight on your sole plate as well, so it's properly seated in case there's a bit of a bow. And that is 1980. 7. Okay, cut those two studs. I'll put my sole plate to length, because I need to measure in between the two uprights. My head, sorry, that is, because I'm not having a head all the way through, because of the door, as I've just said. So I'll do that, and then we'll get that installed. And then I'll just drill this out. This out that. So, now I know this, we're not going to have a head, but again, I've said before that off-cut you can use for noggins, but this is just easier, especially when you're on your own. So, I know that's going to go in there, so I'll mark these up, right and left. So if you just put that in there like that. Right, before I go too far, I just need to pick this one up. Right, if you put that just inside, it's an angle. You know it's the right size because you just measured it. If you put it like that, it's an angle. Put it on the laser line. Right, put it on the laser. And I can check if my laser's still right, check my levels as well. What I can do now with this timber is because that is where it is, I can now make sure that's on my line, on this line, instead on my laser there. And then get my width, which at the minute, that's a bit narrow at the minute, and then I can just cut that off, in situ, multi-tool or whatever. It's just easier when you're on your own as well, because it's a bit of a struggle on your own. So I'll get this levelled up now, on the level, and get that one fired, and then move this one. Stop it. More. Yeah, that's pretty good there, that is now. Check again. Right. No, not going to get in touch with the wire that. No, that's actually pretty good. What's that saying? I have laser, but I'm still, even though they are great, I'm very sceptical still. I just still like to use 11 as well. I know it's a bit counterproductive, but it's bang on my laser, but I just, actually, see? User error, rocking the wrong way. Just bang on the laser. There we are, right on it, right on the laser line there. Let's cock on. Let's cock on. Let's cock on. Not on the laser. Oops. Right then, I'll put some screws in the top and we'll get that sorted out. Before my battery dies, I hadn't realised. I've got this done now. I'm just about to do that one piece in there, There's 3 uprights in there now. I've set that at my boards as close as I can. I've done 450 centres. The only difference I've done is in the bathroom. And you may or may not be aware that what you should be doing is you should be doing 400 centres in the bathroom, any bathroom wall where there's going to be tiles. That's about 350 because it's the centre of what was the stud next to the doorway. That's 400 centres there. And this isn't going to be tiled, so this will be set at 450 again. Doesn't quite work with 8x4 boards, but with the price of timber now, 400 is not really necessary. 600s I don't like, it's just too wide for a 1/2 inch board. I know it's standard, but I don't like it. So I do 450 and then just cut a board to suit if I have to. Or put a packer on the side of the stud, you know, it's all there. We have to utilise what timber we've got now and what have you, because of the price of everything. Before you just buy extra timber and I wouldn't really care about it, but we do now. So I should do this triangle. I should finish that off. I should put it back on a bit of a video while I'm finishing off, but my battery might die. It may be that it'll cut off all of a sudden and then you'll just see me talking with it all finished when I eventually get my battery back on. I've got my charger in the car, I just need to put some juice in my battery, that's all. Okay, right, I'll crack on. Right, there we go. Okay, so all we've got left to do now here is the noggins and the 2 door frames are going, and then we can start plasterboarding. We're only plasterboard one side anyway because we're going to get the electrics done, but we can board all the way down there now to the bottom, all the way around to get that done, get that sealed in, and we can stop some of the dust from the loft going downstairs. And also we can start finishing off then once we're able to take these floors out. Well, I hope you got some enjoyment out of this episode. A bit different to what we normally show because it's just me and I'm in a loft on my own doing a bit of stud work. Kitchen comes tomorrow at Harborne, so don't forget to go on the channel and have a look at that. I'll be fitting all of that. But I shall leave you now. As always, don't forget the like button and get ready for the next episode of whatever that might be. And thank you very much for watching.